Well, hello social media. My name's Annie Logical. I've left a link in the description just to show you who I am in case you don't know me. Obviously a lot of people don't know me. Some of the activism and the charity work that I've done over the past decade. So I'll leave that in the link first of all. I started a 5G mass action campaign group last March 2018, and it's still going strong. We've sent out over 110,000 leaflets shared all over the UK, which is warning people about the dangers of what 5G poses. Also, it links to my website, which documents all the relevant information, including all the studies proving the dangers of electromagnetic radiation, where 5G is rolled out, which is extensively now all over the UK. It also shows who funds it, what government agents are involved and what non-government agents are involved. So if you'd like more details about the action campaign and the leaflets, anyone can access leaflets even if you've got no money. You can go to the 5G Mass Action Campaign group on Facebook. Some of you may know that I've always made it one of my priorities to point out the gatekeeping community which strive to take the lead in campaigns. It's nothing new and it's happened in every single campaign. They control it by leading it. Well, we know the old saying, how to control the opposition is to lead it. Now, I remember about 9 years ago when I was involved in chemtrail activism, and there was a man named Sylvain Henry who had the biggest chemtrail Facebook group. Thousands followed him, and I just knew that something wasn't right about him. So I done a lot of research and I found his online CV, which showed him to be linked to the CIA, and it also helped to build a database that collected all the information on activists. So I made sure that everybody knew about that information. So if I make anything public, it's not because it's a personal attack on someone, it's because I've found information that I think other people should know about and realise. So what do these gatekeepers actually do? Well, their intentions are quite obvious to me. They try to control the narrative. They'll give false information which can be easily proven to be false, which brings discredit to the whole campaign. They'll offer fake solutions while at the same time they're working for the opposition. And they also like to demonise real campaigners. I found this over a 10-year period, those who don't toe the line. Now, I've shown evidence that Mark Steele has got links to agencies who are pushing 5G. He's got links to Gateshead Council via his company, who were exemplars for coordinating with the council on how to get finance from the EU for the Smart Specialisation Programme funding from 2016 to 2020. He's also got links to Israeli Homeland Security, in which he has his smart technology for sale on their website. He's got links to an EU research funded group that uses street furniture and local pride to create living labs. He's also got a criminal past and a lack of evidence of being a scientist, a weapon expert or a secret nuclear expert that he claims. Now, if you look at LinkedIn profiles, they always brag about all their achievements. Okay, now in his LinkedIn profile, he quite openly advertises all the agencies that are pushing the smart agenda, while his actual qualifications are he studied Open University psychology and he went to Gateshead Council for social sciences. Well, that does not equate to being a scientist, does it? So, you know, when are we going to see the evidence that this man, what he claims that he's a scientist, is not, okay? I've also pointed out that Horizon 2020 who he advertises on his LinkedIn profile, is the EU's biggest funding body for the smart agenda, which includes 5G. Now, Horizon 2020 also fund thousands of UK agencies and departments, including Gateshead Council and the Combined Authority, as well as many other councils, universities and even government agencies, such as the Home Office. Now, all of this information is available in an article that I've already shared with all my research. I'll leave the link for that. I made it known 10 months ago that the court cases that Steele claimed to be proof that he was fighting 5G were nothing more than advocacy training cases involving judges who were known advocacy training judges. The one in which he supposedly was at the Crown Court under Judge Nolan, the same judge who supposedly called him a 5G expert, was another such advocacy training case. There was no mention of that case either prior or immediately after that case in the law pages. It should also be noted that this judge is someone who presides over serious crimes, and yet Steele claims to have asked for his case of harassing councillors to be heard by this judge in a Crown Court. If you watched his videos claiming that the papers were official council injunction papers, you'll have noticed that there was no processing number or stamp on the application, and that application form can be downloaded freely from the internet. So 10 months ago, myself and others asked him why this case was not listed in the law pages. The fact is that every single case that's before a Crown Court is listed, and you can get the transcript. This didn't happen before, it didn't happen immediately after either. And now, some 10 months later, just over a week ago, we've got Steele now creating this video.
I've had a lot of resistance from the state apparatus, obviously trying to discredit me, done all sorts of ridiculous things, removed court listings on a number of occasions to make sure that the mainstream media didn't get there. Obviously, people have to be mindful. They don't.
Now that's what you call damage control, knowing that those listings were never ever public. And the amount of people who've read my article, it's clear that he's been challenged on a number of times on the fact that the court cases were not listed. Now, if this was true, he would have made this video 10 months ago, instead of calling those of us astute enough to notice liars. Also be noted that with the initial serving of papers for the charges, which were actually supposedly harassing council officials, that serving of papers was performed by a member of the council and not a court official. That is not the protocols of the courts in this country. That's not how the system works. When you get served papers, you get served them by a court official, and this was not done in the first instance. Now, as I said, Horizon 2020 are the biggest research funding for the Smart Specialisation Programme. Are linked are on his LinkedIn profile, and they are also funding Gateshead Council as well. So let us not forget that his very first appearance on the scene was in the council chambers, where he confronted the very same woman who he later claimed to be unaware of that when she called at his house. Now, this is the initial charges that were made. Apparently this woman went to his house. He said he wasn't aware of who she was, and he actually went indoors twice to Google her on his computer. Well, firstly, if his company had been an exemplar by the council on the Smart Specialisation Programme, he would have met with the council, so he would have known who this woman was. It's also obvious that if she's been harassed by Steele, as it's claimed, she would have taken the opportunity to leave in her car when he supposedly went indoors to Google who she was, twice, not once, by the way, rather than waiting on the doorstep for more so-called harassment. So we've got this case in June where he's publicly claiming to be fighting prison time, fighting for 5G, getting £16,000 from his GoFundMe page. The reality was it wasn't fighting 5G, it was exactly the same charges, harassing counsellors. Okay, it was a civil case, so there was no chance of him going to prison. It was presided over by Judge Kramer, who's a member of Trinity Chambers, who just so happens to represent the local council authority, Gateshead Council, and they've even given seminars in the council chambers, and they're also advocacy training chambers. So once again, no official documents to prove that the case was real, and obviously this whole thing is a set-up by Horizon 2020, and Gateshead Council and Steele are all involved with it. So while this man claims to be fighting 5G, all the evidence shows that he's just given disinformation out. The biggest being that Gateshead lampposts were 5G when they never were, which has been proven with test equipment that measures precisely, and not the meter that he used, which shows accumulated readings from every direction, not just the lights. So many people are now convinced that LED lights are already 5G when they're not. Now I've got all the relevant proof within my website, a website that he claims is a government data gathering website, and his proof of this is a screenshot of a Google announcement that was on my website for about a week in between my paying for the security license, saying the site was unsafe. Now that was a Google policy and nothing to do with me, and yet this is what Steele and his twin brother Graham claim is proof, whilst his own website for the Sun Party has you signing up for a newsletter with no means to unsubscribe from it. Now, in a recent video, he supposedly exposes a transmitter on a lamppost, but he's showing false information. He's claiming that it's a sophisticated dielectric antenna, which it was not. He has completely misinterpreted the what it is capable of, which has been verified by engineers who have pulled to pieces his fake interpretation, which I will also be making a video about next time. So I'll leave this with you for now. All the information, like I said, is on my website. So that's about it. Stay safe. I'm Analogical. See you soon.